Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Tapobhikshena papanam shantanam vitaraginam mumukshunam apekshoyam Atmabodho vidhiyate. So Hari Om and salutations to all. We were doing the 41st verse we completed in Atmabodha. About meditation it was that the difference between the knower, the known and the knowledge completely disappears because that is not there in the state of realization. Jnatra jnana jnaya bheda parena atmani vidyate. Then who realizes the self? Dipyate swayamevahi. The self is of the nature of chit, chidanandaika rupatvat, is the nature of illumination, so it reveals itself by itself. There cannot be any finite entity who realizes the self. The self realizes itself. Like the waker wakes up himself. There is no separate dream entity who has to become the waker now. The waker himself has assumed the identity of a dreamer associated with the dream. When the dream world ends, dream character ends, the dreamer entity ends, the waker realizes that I am the waker, I am not the dreamer. So now moving ahead, how does one come to that state? So a very nice example is given here in 42nd verse. Atma evamatma ranau dhyana mathane satatam krite udita vagatir jwala sarva jnanendhanam dahet. So here is a analogy which is given, and this analogy here is of the way by which fire was created in the earlier days. So this fire used to be created with a process called Arani Manthan. So there would be a wooden cup on the top, a wooden cup below, and there is a rod, wooden rod in between, and one will churn that. And on the basis of that friction, there are fire sparks which will get created, and there is some dry grass that is kept nearby, so it will immediately catch fire. Just give me 1 minute, I will check. There is a very nice video of that. I will just share that with you if I'm able to find that video where they actually do that. Recently also many pandits do, even nowadays, when they create fire, they don't use any matchbox or any chemicals to create fire. They create it like this through the natural process. They create this fire as such. Just a minute. I will share it on the WhatsApp group, how they actually create this whole fire. It's a very beautiful process. And that analogy is given here. Evam atma aranau dhyana mathane satatam krite. So just like the top cup, bottom cup, and in between there is a wood, and they churn that. So what is the top cup here? The lower aspect and the higher aspect. So the lower is the ego, the higher is the self. So this ego and the self, both of them, they are the cups. And which is the fire, which is the rod? So the rod here is uh, meditation on Aham Brahmasmi. That is the rod. So when this small ego, this little jiva, meditates on the self through this rod of steady contemplation, Aham Brahmasmi, then this friction that is generated will create the spark of knowledge. And the dry grass, which is the symbol of ignorance, will completely burn away. So the process of reflection and contemplation is what is indicated here. Evam Atma Aranav Dhyana Mathane Satatam Krite. So Dhyana is contemplation, Mathana is the reflection. So when we use logic and we reflect, and then when we sit quietly and withdraw our senses, what we learned as contemplation earlier, 2 classes earlier, we had that session where we learn to withdraw the senses and focus on the Atma, using any Mahavakya or using any of the pointers of the self. So we had used the pointers given in Atmabodha. Nirguno, Nishkriyo, Nityo, Nirvikalpo, Niranjanaha. Nirvikaro, Nirakaro, Nitya Muktosmi, Nirmalaha. So that is what we had used. So like that, any such pointers which will make us aware that I am not this limited entity, I am that pure consciousness. Now what is this friction that will happen? We live in the world with this attitude that I am the jiva. But the knowledge that we are getting is saying you are not the jiva, you are Brahman, you are pure, indestructible, infinite consciousness. So these two ideas will clash. There will be doubt. How can I be Brahman? How can I be unborn? I have a birth date and every year I celebrate the birthday also. And my birthday is coming very soon. So I'm planning for the birthday celebration. Like that the mind thinks. And then suddenly in the Vedanta class one says, you are unborn, you are birthless, deathless, changeless. So there will be a clash between what are my old ideas and what is the new knowledge that I'm getting. So that clash has to be resolved through reflection, through proper logical understanding as well as experiential proof from the lives of great masters. So that is called mananam. So evam atma aranav dhyana mathane satatam krite. This has to happen continuously. See, in satsang 1 hour we get the knowledge, but every day sometime one has to spend to reflect on that knowledge and then to contemplate on it, because it will not be sufficient. Otherwise once a week, or sometimes some people attend a camp for a few days, 3 days camp, 5 days camp, and then after that one doesn't continue that process of thinking, reflection. So every day sometime satatam krite. So every day sometime, maybe 15 minutes to reflect, 15 minutes to meditate, half an hour one has to give that. Then what will happen? Uditava gatir jwala. And this reflection has to happen properly using good logic. Otherwise our buddhi has perverted logic sometimes. So it will bring out any type of logic. One logic it will say is, anyway life is short. You can't realize the self in this life. Why are you struggling? Why are you living in self-control? Just eat, drink and enjoy. Our realization we will see in the next life. So it prevents us from doing reflection, meditation, or there is so much of work I have to do, there is no time for all this reflection, contemplation and all, no time. Some excuse the mind will give. So I need to use logic properly and reflect steadily. And that's why scripture becomes a very powerful means to reflect. In Atmabodha, there are some 68 verses. Each of the verses, one day one can take. So the way to reflect can be take one verse a day. You can take from Atmabodha, you can take from the Gita, you can take from anywhere. Whichever text you have learned, Hanuman Chalisa, Tattvabodh, Sadhana Panchakam, any of these. One verse, one day. Like people said nowadays, no, WhatsApp forward. The moment you wake up in the morning, there are so many good morning messages, one by one by one. So one shloka, what is the shloka for the day? When you wake up, get ready and then decide, okay, today my shloka is this. Now I will sit and reflect on this. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. What is the meaning of the shloka? Read the commentary of it and think about it. Is it clashing with any of my old ideas? Do I still believe I am the body? Intellectually, I am talking. Reflection happens at intellectual level. The feeling that I am the body, that will still remain. That comes after reflection when I sit and contemplate. That is called viparita bhavana, the contrary feeling. But right now there is contrary knowledge. That I am the body is a contrary knowledge that is there. World is real is contrary knowledge. Happiness is in the world outside is contrary knowledge. So this contrary knowledge has to go with the right understanding. Functionally, yes, I have a body, but I am not the body. That must be very clear to my head. No doubts about that. So when I sit and reflect, and the scripture gives many reasons also. So one can reflect, increase one's conviction. Earlier we had discussed this, that manan happens in 3 stages. One is when I sit and reflect. Second is I discuss with co-seekers. Then different standpoints come up, or something that I have missed out, I can understand, or some doubt I have, can clarify. So that is called group reflection. And third, in time it happens. Every day if I keep doing, in time there will be an intuitive clarity which will arise. That intuitive clarity is important, not informative clarity. The intuitive clarity that I am Brahman intellectually must be there. Otherwise what happens, we feel I am a jiva and I am doing satsang for 1 hour. At that time I am hearing about Brahman, but rest of the day I am jiva only. Intellectually I am talking. So mananam satatam mathane satatam krite, that is called mathana. That is the process of churning. So if I sit every day and spend some time like this in reflection and then meditate on that, I am that Brahman, I am not this body. So half an hour, whether we do in the morning, evening, or whenever we are fresh, that time. What will happen? Uditavagatir jwala. So what will happen with that? The spark of knowledge that arises. Uditavagatir jwala. Sarva ajnana indhanam dahet. The fuel of ignorance, it will destroy, burn away completely. Like the Aruni Manthan process will create sparks of fire. And that sparks of fire, when they fall on the dry grass, that fire is used to light the fire in the Havan. So that's the traditional way how fire used to be created, without any chemicals, without any, and it is very fast, it's a beautiful process. So in that way, the knowledge that arises through this continuous contemplation, this churning of knowledge, jnana mathana it is called. And this analogy Shankaracharya ji has picked up from Kaivalya Upanishad. In Kaivalya Upanishad, this analogy comes. Atmanam aranim kritva pranavam cha uttararanim jnana nirmathanabhyasat pasham dahati pandita. So there the example is, the lower arani is the lower cup, is the jiva, upper cup is Om. Atmanam aranim kritva pranavam cha uttara aranim. And jnana nirmathana, the process of churning is the jnana nirmathana, this is the reflection contemplation. Pasham dahati pandita. The wise seeker burns away all bondage. So from there the analogy has been inspired, and Shankaracharya ji has used it here. We should ask ourselves that question. Is there a friction or not? Simple question. If I attended a satsang and I said there is no friction, everything is so nice, it was wonderful satsang. No friction happened. That means manthan didn't happen. That means I did not clash with my old ideas. No, Swamiji, my ideas are already correct. So there was no friction which happened. If that is the case, then no problem. Then do nididhyasana. Jiva bhav, it may not conflict with my idea intellectually, but jiva bhav is still there. No, it will conflict at that level. I know this, but still I am living as a jiva. So it will come there. Now, if it doesn't come in any of these places, neither at intellectual level nor at the feeling level of my jiva bhav is still existing, then satsang has not done its job. You know, Mahatmas used one analogy, maybe I've shared this earlier also, but it's a nice analogy. I like that. One Mahatma used to say that, you know, being in satsang is like playing a boxing match. In the boxing match, if you don't get injured, if you haven't got hurt, one or two blows on your face, that means you didn't fight, you ran away, or you were sitting somewhere alone. You were running away from that person, going round in the circle. No, you gave up, saying, you know, that person is a victor, I don't want to fight. So satsang is like that. Satsang is like that, where we bring out our ideas and let them clash with the new ideas that I am getting. In fact, actually, that is the process of all knowledge. If already I have some wrong notions, the new knowledge will clash with it, and it must replace the existing false notions. If they don't replace, that means either I am not participating in satsang properly, or I am not absorbing it fully because I am attached to the old knowledge that I don't want to let it go. So this friction has to happen. After every satsang, one should ask how many ideas of mine were questioned or there was a conflict about it. Then the progress will happen very fast. So that is called Arani Manthan. So this is that. Evam Atma Aranav Dhyana Mathane Satatam Krite. Now going further, another analogy. Arune Neva Bodhena Purvam Santamase Hrite Tata Avirbhavedatma Swayamevam Shumaniva. So here the analogy is Arune Neva Bodhena. Like there is a pre-dawn. Pre-dawn is called Arunoday. Before Suryodaya happens, there is Arunoday. You know, birds, when they wake up, that time is called Arunoday. The birds don't wake up at sunrise. They wake up before sunrise. They start chirping much before. This Brahma Muhurat, what we call, no, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. The 2 hours, first 2 hours, they are the Arunodaya actually. Slowly the sun starts rising, and it's a gradual process. Of course, we know it's rotation of the earth and all that. But this pre-dawn precedes the dawn. So what is the analogy here? Arune neva bodhena purvam santamase hrite. This thick veil of darkness which is there, slowly it is lifted already by pre-dawn. It is not that sun rises one shot and suddenly all darkness goes. No, there is a pre-dawn condition in which the light slowly starts emerging, and the sky becomes more and more brighter. Finally, the sunrise actually happens, which we see. So here he says like that, Tata Avirbhavedatma Swayameva Amshumaniva. Just like the pre-dawn has already, Arunodaya has already removed quite a bit of darkness, then the sun rises and finally all darkness is gone. In the same way, before realization of the self happens, the intellectual conviction and clarity has to come. Arunodaya is a symbol of the intellectual clarity. Suryodaya is symbol of realization. Through steady contemplation, one will wake up to realize the truth. So this Arunodaya is the intellectual clarity. So intellectual clarity must arise before I even sit to contemplate. So if I don't contemplate on the Atma, if I don't have the intellectual conviction, I can't contemplate on the Atma. Then at the maximum what I am doing is upasana. I am chanting a mantra or I am chanting some shlokas or some stuti, which is also good, nothing wrong in that, which will make the mind single pointed, which will make the mind pure. But if I have to contemplate that I am Brahman, that contemplation can happen steadily only if there is the intellectual clarity, which already removes layers of ignorance. So Shravan and Manan together are Arunodaya, which remove the layers of ignorance. You see, there are two approaches which people say, which you will find Buddhism and Zen, some of these philosophies, they will speak about sudden enlightenment. That enlightenment is not a process. Suddenly one will realize, like how one wakes up. Sometimes one wakes up just like that. There is no process from deep sleep to dream and then slowly one wakes up. No, one just wakes up. So that is called sudden enlightenment. Instant. The other is a gradual process where we listen, we reflect, and we slowly get over the ignorance layer by layer through first listening, then reflecting, and then steady contemplation, then samadhi, and the sun reveals itself and one will realize absolute. So the second process is what is described here. Because many lives one has lived as though in this ignorance, and the power of habit is very strong. So for majority, it will not happen like sudden enlightenment. And even for those whom it happens as sudden enlightenment, they have already gone through a process. We should never forget that. Many people have got deluded thinking this, okay, what is the need of sadhana? Anyway, if enlightenment is sudden, one day anyway it will just happen. How it will happen just like that? No, I'm waiting. Bhagwan's grace will fall and I will suddenly realize. No, it won't happen just like that. Effort has to be put to realize the truth. Buddha himself, did he realize suddenly? He went through so many years of tapasya. Then he realized the truth. Sudden enlightenment doesn't happen like that. It is a process followed by sudden enlightenment, if you want to say like that. Sometimes we don't know the process, so we think it happened suddenly. Somebody will touch me and I will realize the truth. It will not happen. One person told Gurudev in one question answer session, one informal session, he told Gurudev, Swamiji, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa touched Vivekanandji and he went into samadhi. Will you please touch me? Gurudev said, are you Vivekananda? If I touch you, my hand only will get dirty. It's not going to happen. Vivekanandji was the right patra. So when Ramakrishna touched him, he went into samadhi. How many people Ramakrishna would have touched? Do you think every fellow went into samadhi? No. So it doesn't happen like that. There's a process. Because you think about it, if what people tell us, to make a habit To make a habit, you practice anything consistently for 21 days, it will become a habit. If you practice it for 90 days, it will become a lifestyle. But what about that which we have practiced for lifetimes? I am the body, I am the jiva, I am finite, I am Mr. So and so, I am limited. That notion has been there for so many lives. Suddenly will it go? It won't go. So this steady process is required, and with patience one has to do it. Right now a lot of people are going through what they call lockdown exhaustion. One is exhausted of this lockdown. कि अरे कितना दिन और चलेगा ये? How many days are over? Some 40 days are over, maybe a little more than that. In 40-50 days one gets exhausted. Now this is a process for years together. Every single day one has to get up, live in self-control, do mananam, do nididhyasan, do karma yoga through the day, seva, and the mind will become purified step by step by step to come to realize the truth. It's a long drawn process. Right now everybody is preparing each other for the long drawn battle for COVID-19. It's a long drawn battle. Now how many months more it will take? So we need patience, we need fortitude, we need persistence, precautions, alertness, all that is required. Because otherwise, one moment of inalertness, gone. In our life, how many moments of inalertness are there like that? One gulab jamun is enough, finished. Inalertness will happen immediately. All self-control, tapobhik, shina, papanam, all that we read in Atmabodha, in 1 second, one gulab jamun has to come front, all tapas gone. That tapobhik, shina, papanam becomes patobhik, shina, papanam. Pat means to fall. One moment, it just goes. Now again one has to build. How many times one falls, how many times one has to pick up, again start walking. So it's a process. And in that the subtlest process is this. Reflection and contemplation. That is the subtlest process. Everything else is the preparation for that. Upvas, yatra, vrata. Those things are preparation. Japa. All those are preparatory sadhanas. Dan, yajna, havan. All that is to prepare the mind. For what? To listen, reflect, contemplate. That is the subtlest. Nobody will know what is happening. So many people think, "Arey, what? You are just attending lecture after lecture. Text after text you are reading. Kya hota hai in sab se?" Because everybody thinks that it is only some action you have to do outside. Action has its own place in the world, there is no doubt. But action can produce limited result. And the result of action will perish. We saw that in the first verse itself. Shantanam Vitaraginam. The person who has Vairagya has understood that nothing in the world outside can make me realize the absolute supreme. So then what should I do? Slowly train the mind to seek the self within, because what I am seeking is permanent happiness. That should be clear to me. That permanent happiness is my true self. It is not something to be created. If it is my true self, then why am I not experiencing? Because there are layers of ignorance covering it. How to remove that ignorance? Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. To do Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana, all the other sadhanas. By itself, those sadhanas will not lead us to the state of realization. Ignorance has to be removed. That ignorance goes through this Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. This is the Jnana Marg we are talking about.
Swamiji,
yeah.
Intellectual clarity is different. You do jap, and you said jap, and you do your upas and all. It's a preparation for intellectual clarity.
Yeah.
Is meditation and jap the same thing?
No.
No. So it's once you have intellectual clarity, you get into meditation. And do you drop your jap at that time?
You can do it in such a way that when we do the steps of contemplation, in that we concentrate and then contemplate, because the mind must get single pointed for contemplation to be effective. So let us say Om Namah Shivaya. You can do japa of Om Namah Shivaya for 108 times or whatever number you fix. After that, start the contemplation, because then the contemplation will be steady. So japa gradually leads us to contemplation.
But when you contemplate, you are saying, I am not the self.
I am the self. I am not the BMI.
I am not the BMI.
Yeah. So
you
same
can't,
Om Namah Shivaya.
you can't contemplate on Om.
You can, any mantra you contemplate, even Gayatri mantra, even Om Namah Shivaya. In japa state, I am saying Om Namah Shivaya means meditate on the form of Shiva and then chant the mantra. But in contemplation, Shiva is pure consciousness. I am that pure consciousness. I am not the BMI. So the same mantra becomes contemplative. So whichever is the Ishta mantra, I can use that mantra for japa and then use the Vedantic aspect for connecting it to contemplation. So that is called contemplation, which will lead to the state of meditation. A lot of people confuse meditation to be either concentration or blank absence of thought. It is neither. It is the state where I am fully aware that my nature is pure consciousness. So if you want that clarity, write down one definition, that meditation means effortless awareness of the true self. That is called meditation. It's a state, it's not a practice. Effortless awareness of one's true self. Sanskrit definition is dhyanam nama swarupasya sahajam bhanam uchyate. स्वरूप के सहज भान को ध्यान कहते हैं. Simple. Effortless awareness of my true self. That is called meditation, which is a state. The practice leading to that is nididhyasan. Nididhyasan means detached from the BMI, attached to the self. Now to do that continuously, I need concentration. That is called ekagrata. So this preparatory process is important. Then we come to nididhyasan. Either in Jnana Marg, nididhyasan, or in Bhakti Marg, Bhagavan only says that whoever is remembering me continuously, he blesses them with knowledge. In the 10th chapter, he explains that. Bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. I give them buddhi yoga, meaning I give them this knowledge that you and I are not different. You are the self. I am the pure consciousness. We both are the same essentially. So knowledge is the final means to liberation. Whether we get it through contemplation path or through surrender, doesn't matter. So here, before that contemplation can be done steadily, so contemplation here is the sunrise. Yeah. Intellectual clarity here is the pre-dawn. So one should be very clear about that, because otherwise there is no, many people sit to contemplate because it sounds very nice, and music and all is there. No, it sounds beautiful. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. What did you enjoy? Oh, sound, music was so beautiful. It gave me such peace of mind, which is good at one level. Okay, you got some peace of mind, excellent. But it is saying you are not the mind, Baba. Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham. I am not this mind. That is what it is saying. But then I experience peace of mind through that. Good. Use that peace of mind to transcend the mind. Because a lot of people in the name of meditation are actually enjoying music. They're not contemplating. So I should ask myself, did I enjoy music? Did I become quiet as single pointedness, concentration, or actually I contemplated? Because that is very, very important. Because a lot of people seek only quietude of mind. No doubt it is helpful for one's life. Here in Vedanta, what are we trying to go beyond that also? So quietude of the mind one can get through the step of concentration. But contemplation is the next one, and meditation is the state to be achieved through that. So now that was the analogy in 43. Now going ahead, someone says that, if you are saying self is already my nature, but still I am feeling I am not the self, why is like that? So that analogy comes here now, 44. Atma tu satatam praptopi apraptavada vidyaya tannashe praptavad bhati swakantha bharanam yatha. Atma tu satatam praptopi. Atma is our nature at all times. This line we should never forget. Atma is my nature all times. I am not the Jiva who is now trying to become the Atma. No, no, no. I am the Atma at all times, temporarily playing the role of a Jiva, which is represented very nicely in that English line. I am not a body with a soul. I am a soul presently in the human form. This human body and this role that I am playing, that is temporary. I am the Atma, like the actor always knows I am the actor. Whichever role the actor is playing, the actor knows I am the actor. So if you want to modify that this shloka to suit the actor analogy, then you have to say actor tu satatam praptopi apraptavad avidyaya. The actor is always there, but suppose the actor forgets that I am the actor and thinks I am only the role. That is ignorance. And when that ignorance is destroyed, tannashe praptavad bhati, then it appears as though he has again become the actor. Has that person again become the actor? No, he was the actor all the time. Even when he forgot, he was the actor only. So analogy given for that is swakantha bharanam yatha. Like the necklace is there on the neck, and one thinks one has lost the necklace, and one goes on searching everywhere. Even while one was searching, it was already there. One did not know it because one forgot, and then one started looking outside. Same way, Atma or happiness is our true nature already. Atma tu satatam praptopi. Apraptavad avidyaya. It only appears as though we have lost this Atma and we have become Jiva. One man, he went to the Guru, the disciple. So he went to the Guru, and he is one big successful person. So he went to the Guru and he was pouring out his problems in front of the Guru. So the Guru said, do you want a relief or do you want a cure? He said, sir, I have got relief many times. Now I am fed up of relief because every time problem comes back in some other form. Can you give me a cure? So the Guru said, if you want a cure, then you think about this line deeply, contemplate on it. What was the line? He said, you are not lost in a dream, you are dreaming that you are lost. Simple line. You are not lost in a dream. Meaning this world is samsar, is a dream. We feel, Arey, I am lost. Coronavirus situation has come. Now I don't know what is going to happen. Economic problems are there. Physical issues are there. So many problems are there. How will we deal with it? So sometimes we feel lost in this world. Problems, relationships, money, success, so many things in that the mind has got lost. So he said, you are not lost in a dream. You are dreaming that you are lost. The whole world itself is a dream. In that I am identifying with one body and now I am thinking I am lost. No, I am only dreaming. All these characters, everything also is a part of that dream. So the identity shifts from one dream character who is lost in the dream to the dreamer. Same way it is here. Now this shloka is also a shloka which negates ignorance. So, causal body, it negates. Like see, we negate gross body by saying I am not the body, mind and intellect. Sorry,
Swamiji, what does it negate?
the ignorance, causal body. It negates the ignorance because the obstacle to realization is the notion. I am talking about the subtlest obstacle now. The subtlest obstacle to realization is the notion that I am ignorant. That notion has to go. I am not ignorant. My nature is pure consciousness at all times. Temporarily, it appears that I have become ignorant, but I am not ignorant. For that, this understanding of I must be clear. I is not this body. I is not the jiva. I is consciousness. Can there be darkness for the sun? Is it ever possible? Not possible. Wherever sun goes, there will be light only. Same way, Chaitanya Swarup is my nature, knowledge is my Swarup, Jnana is my Swarup. How can I be ignorant? But not identifying with that, when I think I am the body or I am the jiva, that ignorance appears to cover the knowledge that I am the consciousness. And so here he says, Atma tu satatam praptopi. This knowledge that I am pure consciousness is always there with us. In fact, I am consciousness only. Each one of us is consciousness. But apraptavad avidyaya. It appears as though we have forgotten it. It's just because of ignorance. So, tannashe praptavad bhati. When ignorance is destroyed by, earlier example what was given, like contemplation and reflection and contemplation, through that ignorance destroyed. Then what does one realize? One realizes I was, I am, I will always be the self. So you know what is the definition of moksha in Vedanta? Definition in Vedanta for moksha is not that I am bound and now I got liberated. Moksha in Vedanta is to realize I was never bound, I will never be bound. That is called moksha. And if somebody says at this day, at this time, I realize the truth, now this is my sakshatkar divas, wonderful. That means you are accepting till now you were a bound baddha jiva. That is stupidity. Like sun is saying ki from now onwards my nature is brilliant, till now I was enveloped by darkness. There can never be darkness for the sun. Same way, our nature is Atman, it can never be that I have become the jiva. Now this is to be applied in steady contemplation in the last state of effort. Why? Because the last state, the notion that I am a jiva, I have to become Brahman, that has to be dropped. Jiva can never become Brahman. Can a wave ever become ocean? Impossible. But the wave is water. Ocean is also water. As water, there is no boundary for the wave or the ocean. It is all everywhere only water. Same way, I as a jiva don't have to become Brahman. I have to realize I was, I am, I will be Brahman. So there is no change in me. I was not ignorant, who has now become knowledgeable. No. The waker was always lying on the bed. Whether the dream was there or not there, the waker was lying on the bed as it is. So this is to negate this notion that I am ignorant. So in the last step in contemplation, this comes. Don't say, oh, anyway, I have to drop ignorance. So I'm not this jiva at all. So I can do anything. I'm not bound. So why do any sadhana? That is called perverted logic. If I say that I anyway have to go up, take the pole, go up and then drop the pole to cross over. So why lift the pole? Then I will not reach up.
Even Buddha attained enlightenment under the tree, at some point. So that self-realization comes at some point.
No, it doesn't come at some point. That's the difference between Buddha's realization and the Vedantic understanding. How can I realize the timeless in time?
No, I understand what you're saying,
Ah,
but somebody like me who's been so ignorant, it's a process, these satsangs, and I am realizing now, then you believe you have more faith than even understanding and questioning.
that is in the part of the process where I am removing layers of ignorance. That's what we discussed. The layers of ignorance are going. When the layers of ignorance go away, the realization is, Arey, I was, I am, I will be Brahman only.
Yeah,
And
correct.
that doesn't happen at any specific time suddenly that now I realize. No. See, Buddha realized below the Bodhi tree. That's the place of realization.
Correct.
Place, okay, one can say because that's the place he stayed and he meditated, contemplated. One can say that place, but can you say at this point in time is a realization? It is
No,
like saying
it's a process
it's a process of uncovering all the layers
of ignorance.
of ignorance. Knowledge is not being produced by effort of contemplation because anything produced by effort is destructible. It is an effortless awareness of my true self. That's what the definition of meditation said. No? Effortless awareness of my true self. And that effortless awareness is not a product of effort. See, in the world, so that's the big difference between realization and other things in the world. In the world, if I learn to practice something continuously, it becomes effortless. In the beginning, driving is an effort. After that, driving becomes effortless. Because continuous practice, then it becomes subconscious, effortless. But this is not like that. This is not a product of continuous practice. The continuous practice of contemplation is eliminating layers and layers of ignorance. So it is like this, can you tell me, tonight you try, tomorrow morning you have to tell me, all of you. You have to type on WhatsApp, what is the exact moment in time when you went into sleep? Okay, homework given to you. Morning I will check my WhatsApp. What time did you get into sleep? You tell me that time. You can tell me a time when you were lying down, when you switched off. But can you tell me the time when you went to sleep? It is not possible. Because it's a different state of consciousness. In that, this time doesn't exist only. Now imagine from one state of consciousness to other state of consciousness, in ignorance itself, I cannot tell which time I went to sleep, which time I went into dream state, which time I went into deep sleep state. I cannot tell because the time changes. The longest dream is for how much? 2 or 3 minutes. Longest continuous dream is only for 2-3 minutes, but it looks so long. Chronologically, as per the waking time, it is only 2-3 minutes. So it is impossible to say which time I realized because to transcend time is called realization. So at the maximum, one can say this is the place. That's about it. Which time, what day. Some people may even say like Buddha Purnima is the Purnima when we celebrate the birth of Buddha, the enlightenment day of Buddha, and the Nirvana day of Buddha also. Just now it went last week, Buddha Purnima. So people have given that as a day. Okay, that is the day of his Nirvana also. He's a rare individual in whose life all the three fall on the same day. Birthday, enlightenment day, and the Nirvana day, all three on same day. Maybe
But
one
how
can
is
ask
that possible?
Buddha, how is that possible? Why not possible? By karma, it can be possible that the same day the person is born, the same day the person is dying. And enlightenment, did he say that he was enlightened on that day? That I am not sure. Because the entity who has to say I am enlightened is gone. Na? Who will say I am enlightened?
Correct.
Somebody must have picked it up saying that this is the Buddha's enlightenment day over. So anyway, the point is, truly speaking, one who has enlightened oneself will never be able to say, okay, this is the time of enlightenment. So this shloka is to make us aware of this fact that in the last step of contemplation, one refuses to accept I am ignorant. Till that step, one is saying I am ignorant, so my effort is to negate I am body, mind, intellect and assert I am the self. But when that negation of body, mind, intellect has become very strong and very clear, then last thing to be left to be negated is ignorance. I am ignorant. That notion has to go. This is what has to be done in contemplation, not a blank state, not a thoughtless state. Thoughtlessness though is very, very, what we call, easy to get compared to this contemplation and negation. We may feel, oh God, thoughtlessness only is very difficult to attain. No, beyond thoughtlessness is this state of destroying the false identification and waking up to the truth that I was, I am, I will always be the truth. So I will end with this story. I don't know whether I shared earlier. I may have shared. So there was this woodcutter who went into the woods and he had a function in his house, so he needed lots of wood. So he went deep into the forest and he started chopping the trees and he collected lots of wood. But he lost track of time. By the time he finished his work, it was quite late in the evening, and now to come back from deep forest out back to his village, it will be impossible. So he was thinking now what to do, and he suddenly saw, oh, there is a fire somewhere. And he saw that there is a hut. So he found that there is a yogi, some mendicant who is staying there. So he went to the yogi and he said that, sir, can you please give me shelter for tonight? I live in such and such village and I will go tomorrow morning. So the yogi said, it's okay, stay here, have some fruits, drink some water, and you can relax. And the yogi started meditating. So this person had some fruits, drank some water, and he was very happy. Then he went out to tie his donkeys. So he had 3 donkeys. So now he tied 2 of them. Now he came back inside. The yogi has come out of his meditation. So he asked the yogi, sir, can you please give me some rope? I need to tie my donkey. So he said, see, I don't have any rope, but you do one thing. You do the act of tying the donkey. And don't worry, the donkey will remain there. So that woodcutter said, but sir, what if the donkey goes away? He says, no, no, don't worry, it will remain there. You just do the act of tying. So this man said, maybe this yogi has some powers and all that. So he went, he did the act of tying the donkey and he came back and he slept. Next morning when he woke up, what did he find? All the 3 donkeys are there. He was so happy. He said, Arey wah, the trick worked. So he thanked the yogi. He got up and he untied the donkeys and he started going. Now these 2 donkeys whom he untied, they were coming with him. But this 3rd donkey is not coming. So this woodcutter thought, oh God, this fellow is not coming. Maybe that yogi has done some, mantra and some magic. So he goes to the yogi and saying, sir, please, please let this donkey go. And if he doesn't go, if this 3rd donkey doesn't come, how will I manage my livelihood? This, that. So the yogi said, Arey Baba, I thought there were only 3 donkeys here. You also turning out to be a company of them. What are you doing? He said, no, sir, the 3rd donkey is not coming. What magic have you done? He said, I have not done any magic. You did the act of tying the donkey. So the donkey thinks he is bound. Now you have to do the act of untying the donkey. So now he goes and he does the act of untying, and now the donkey feels, now I am free. So then the donkey starts going with the woodcutter. So the question is, who is the donkey? How many donkeys are there in the story? In the story, there are only three. But in the real life, who is the donkey? We think we are bound. So we do all this sadhana. And then we feel, now I got liberated. Are, even when the donkey was standing there, he was free only. Right now also we are free only. Atma tu satatam praptopi. Apraptavad avidyaya. Only by ignorance I am thinking I am bound. I am not bound at all. How is it possible for clouds? Earlier you see, we have seen that analogy. No? Clouds. Megha paye amshumaniva. Like these clouds, they cover the sun. Is it ever possible for clouds to cover the sun? Impossible. But if I stand on the earth and watch, then it looks as though the cloud is covering the sun. If I go in the plane, then I see, array, sun is there, clouds are here. There is no covering at all. So it is like that. This is the most beautiful state actually. To know, to lift oneself to the realization that I was, I am, and I will never be bound. Mukti is my swarup. You know, Gurudev's last name, there are 108 names of Gurudev Swami Chinmaya. So his last name is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaya Namaha. One who is eternally pure, Shuddha, Buddha, enlightened, and Mukta, free, which is actually applicable to all of us as consciousness. We are eternally pure, eternally free, eternally enlightened. There is no ignorance. There is nothing that can bind us. That is our pure nature. No, but we are still identified with the Jiva Bhav. So keep doing the sadhana. When the last step comes to drop this notion I am ignorant, one can drop it. So for today, I will stop here. Anything to ask or share, you are welcome.
Swamiji,
Haan ji.
is Buddha one of the incarnations of Vishnu? One of the avatars of Vishnu?
Yes, Bhagavatam very clearly mentions he is an avatar of Vishnu who took avatar to revive the Sanatan Dharma from its degradation that it went through. The Vedic culture went through decadence. And though Buddha formed a different religion, that is one way of Dharma Samsthapana. So we should not think that Bhagavan will do Dharma Samsthapana only of Hindu Dharma. If the Hindu Dharma has gone through decadence and a new Dharma has to be revived, then no problem.
Okay. But it's very different from our Hinduism and Vedanta, no? The principles of...
No, they are not different. In the ultimate realization, few things are different. They speak about Shunya and we speak about Atma. But if you see the middle path, it is there in the Gita or not? In the 6th chapter, Bhagavan says that Yuktahara Viharasya, moderation in everything, Ati Sarvatra Varjayet. If you take principles of Buddhism, they all are there in Hinduism. Buddha didn't create anything new actually. People think Vipassana is a practice from Buddhism. It is not. It is there in the in Veda also. Mindfulness, people say, is Buddhism. Mindfulness also is there in the Veda.
Right.
And Vairagya, they say, that is definitely there in Vedanta. So what is not there in Buddhism? What is there in Buddhism which is not in Vedanta? It is all there. Some mantras may be different because that's Pali language and other things. But essential concepts of pain, of sorrow, of Vairagya from the world, of Maya, they call it as Mara, we call it as Maya. It's all the same. Only the state of realization, there is a difference where they think it is Shunya, and I think it is also because of a lot of time that many things have got distorted. Because when I was studying in Vedant course, we had gone to the Dalai Lama, then we went to Siddhabari. So when we went and met him, we asked him, our teacher asked him this question, that the ultimate truth in Vedant is realization of consciousness. But
Okay.
in Buddhism, you are saying ultimate truth is a blank, a shunya. So why do you say it is
Oh.
shunya? And you know what Dalai Lama replied? He says, no, it is not shunya as you understand. It is shunya as the absence of the whole world. That none of the finite experiences are there in that state.
Ah, yeah, good one. Yeah, nice.
So from that standpoint, Buddhism and Vedanta will be same if they say that the realization is of the infinite consciousness. Then it is same quite a bit. Buddhism also has devatas. Buddhism also has Maya.
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism also has
Right.
japa. So many things are similar,
Correct.
It's very strange how people get so easily conditioned. Buddhist chanting is a rage.
Yeah.
And if you tell people do the Vedic chanting, that is, Are?
Now there are Buddhist weddings also. People are going. One Hindu wedding, one Buddhist wedding.
What is the meaning of Buddhist wedding?
Yeah, they have, apart from the Hindu ceremony,
Huh.
now couples also want to have another Buddhist ceremony. I have not been to one, but some friends had attended.
I've been, yeah.
Acha, Buddhist ceremony. Buddha Bichara, he left everything and became a Vairagi, and the Buddhist wedding happening now.
And one program is of the Buddhist, just songs and all their meditation, and one program of the wedding.
Oh, one part of the wedding is that.
Yeah.
Achha.
One function, separate function.
Separate for it. Okay, like
just the chanting of the,
Oh, that's good. As long as it is leading to something sattvic, is good only.
Yeah.
I didn't know this Buddhist wedding happening. Acha.
Yeah.
Human being creates a lot of creativity. Buddha must be thinking, मेरे नाम में क्या क्या कर रहे हैं ये लोग? He rejected all idols, and biggest idols in the world are Buddhist idols.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said
That's right.
desire
Yeah.
is the root cause of evil, and people are doing chanting to fulfill desires only. Buddhist chanting happens to fulfill desire.
Yeah.
All right. Hari Om. Thank you, everyone.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you. It was so interesting.
Hari.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Swamiji.
Swamiji. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Swamiji.
Hari Om. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
Om Asatoma
Thank you.
Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Namaha. Hari Om.